Hey there guys, what's going on? It's Gale right here, back on the 5-9 channel, and we are here for day 4 of E3. The final day is upon us, and we are here to wrap up the day today. Of course, wrapping it up with Nintendo. Of course, there is also Bandai, but Bandai is only hosting one game, which we will cover in potentially a short later on in the evening, or maybe before this even comes out. But with me today to wrap up whatever Nintendo has shown off is, of course, Adam.
Hey, how's it going, guys?
And we have Iron King.
It has been a good day. Yeah, it's been a good day.
It's been a great day even. Arguably, we came into Nintendo thinking, you know what, the rest of E3 has been a shambles outside of Microsoft. How much worse could it get? Thankfully, Nintendo, decided to show up. Boy, oh boy, did they show up. A slew of exciting announcements. Super exciting. Let's just get right into it, shall we? So they started off with, of course, a Smash review, as per usual, as expected. Announcing their next character for their Fighters Pack. And of course, it was surprisingly to me personally. I wasn't even expecting it. I know another member of 5-9, Ignorant, was, just offhandedly said last night, what if they have a Tekken character coming in tomorrow, And lo and behold, it was a Tekken character. Kazuya enters the fray. As a Tekken fan, I haven't played a lot of the recent ones, but as a Tekken fan from like the Tekken 4 days, Tekken 5 and Tekken 3, having Kazuya on as one of the main, fighters in Smash is super exciting, Even though I've kind of weaned off of Smash Ultimate, I'm still super excited to see other people, my friends, and just other content creators play with them. But yeah, Adam, how do you feel about Kazuya entering Smash?
He looked pretty dope. The trailer that they had of him was pretty funny too, just tossing people off cliffs. So
Yep.
I'm excited.
Yeah, this Fighters Pass is seemingly very well done. We had Min, Steve, and from Minecraft, Sephiroth, from Final Fantasy VII, Pyra Mythra, and then of course one more after Kazuya is yet to come as well. So the second volume for the Fighters Pass seems extremely good. Iron, how about you, man? How do you feel about this?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not too familiar with Kazuya, but it's another fighting game character. You got Ryu, you got the King of Fighters guy Terry. So to have another, rep from, Tekken, very prominent fighting game, it's very cool to see.
The only fighting game yet to be featured in Smash is Mortal Kombat. So it's gonna be interesting to see if they ever come around to doing that, especially in the final character, of course. Right after that, they went into something Square Enix had already shown in Life is Strange, both the remastered collection as well as True Colors. The new one is going to be coming on the Nintendo Switch. I don't think we need to add anything upon that. And then of course, right after that, we got Monster Hunter Stories 2, Wings of Ruin. Now this, of course, we did get a bit yesterday anyways with Capcom, of course, them talking about Monster Hunter Rise as well as Stories. Having obviously looking at this, I've been I'm looking forward to Monster Hunter Stories 2 because it's an RPG game as well. Very excited to see it. I still have to play the first one, so I might play the first one and then come to this. There is, however, also a free demo coming on June 25th, and you can carry over the save data to the full game when it launches on the Nintendo Switch on July 9th. So yeah, that's going to be super exciting. Are you one of you guys going to try out the demo when it comes out on June 25th?
I think I'll probably try out the demo. And honestly, I think they did a better job of showing Monster Hunter Stories than Capcom did. So
I can agree.
It was very interesting.
I will admit, yeah, it was a lot of fun to watch the gameplay, the collecting of the items, hatching the eggs and stuff like that. That was a lot of fun. Iron, what about you? Planning on trying it out?
I mean, the fact that the demo allows you to carry over some save data over to the full game, I think that's a good way to incentivize people to try it out. I don't know if I'll buy the full game, but there's no loss on my end for trying out the demo, right? So I might.
Yeah, completely agree. There's a couple of other things that got announced here and there in terms of effectively what? It was just some third-party titles, of course. They announced Marvel's Guardians of the Galaxy, of course, coming to the Nintendo Switch as well on October 26th. Of course, this is the same Guardians of the Galaxy that got announced on the Square Enix presentation. Of course, they got 2 Point Campus, another Worms Rumble game. So pretty general. Any third-party games that you guys noticed that were caught your eye, even with the other games that came later on, like Doom Eternal's DLC, Kakarot's coming to the Switch. Of course, we'll talk about that in just a second, but anything catch your eye, boys?
Oh, for me, I was really hyped for
coming.
Super Monkey Ball is because I'm a big fan of the first 2 games. I was thinking it was going to be a new Monkey Ball game, and the new ones haven't been too hot recently. But the fact that it's going to be a collection of the first couple, I'm really excited for that. Those games are a lot of fun.
Yeah,
I'm definitely pumped for that too. That was a big part of my childhood, and seeing some of those levels come back looked pretty. It just brought back memories of being filled with rage,
Yeah, it is the original 3 Super Monkey Ball games, of course, with 300, I think, recreated level 12 mini games as well. So really, really good from them. But yeah, you mentioned Kakarot. Let's talk a bit about Kakarot, Adam. Of course, Kakarot's coming over onto the Switch along with a new Power Awakens set, which is effectively the Super Saiyan God and Super Saiyan Blue DLCs on Kakarot. They're both DLCs as well as the base game is coming onto the Nintendo Switch on the 24th. But yeah, Adam, you were gonna say something about Kakarot? Go ahead.
Well, I just think, anytime you can get Goku somewhere else, you'll take him, right? And so now
100%.
people can take him on the go. So
I do wonder, this is a bit off topic to the Nintendo Direct, but I do wonder if this is going to classify for their 1 game a year contract that Bandai has, right? Because we've been wondering, like, what new game is Bandai gonna bring out this year? So I do wonder if Kakarot releasing on the Switch technically qualifies as a fresh game or something that allows them to fulfill their contract. I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. Maybe they don't have to release a game this year because of the pandemic, but who knows? We don't know the ins and outs of Bandai and their contracts, so we'll have to wait and see on that. After that, of course, we did get the amazing news of a new Mario Party game. Yes, this is something that I've been talking about on the streams and stuff like that. I've been saying, if there's a prediction I have, it's either a new Mario Party or a new Mario Kart. And we got a new Mario Party. It's called Mario Party Superstars. It's basically a collection of old school boards remade and refurbished for this new game. Basically, I think there's stuff like Peach's Birthday Cake, there is Spaceland, a lot of classic ones from Mario Party 1, Mario Party 2, and so on and so forth. It can be played online as well, so that's already better than Super Mario Party when it launched. Of course, Super Mario Party just added online play recently, so yeah, getting these modes on, getting this game ready to go online immediately is super exciting. And it comes out on the 29th of October and has a collection of 100 mini games and stuff. But yeah, Adam, how do you feel about Mario Party coming around or getting a new iteration on the Switch?
I thought it was really cool just seeing like the old maps and everything. I thought the biggest deal was like it seemed like they said random matchmaking was going to be a thing where you can match with other people around the globe. That seems pretty crazy to me because I don't know about you guys, but when I play Mario Party with people I know, people tend to rage quit a lot. So it'd be nice to try and find other people to play with.
Or try and make them rage quit. Try and make unknowns rage quit. That's what you need.
Exactly.
Iron, how about you, man? How do you feel about this one?
Dude, it seems like with this game, they finally actually took some advice from the fans. They brought back old maps and they have online multiplayer, and I saw some people say on Twitter, I don't know if this is confirmed or not, but apparently say if your online match gets interrupted somehow, it saves, so you can actually go right back to where you were. So if that's the case, that's very
that's
good too, Nintendo's online can be a little spotty sometimes, but yeah, I'm really hyped for this game, of course.
Yeah, that's good that they are taking that into consideration if it's the case. I will, however, also specifically say one thing is that there is only 5 classic boards, which is obviously, it does seem a bit small. I understand that. I mean, a lot of the classic games probably still had more than the 5 classic boards, but we have to remember DLCs, updates, free updates, expansions are a thing. I wouldn't be surprised if this base set of 5 becomes like a base set of 10 in a year's time or something. Maybe a bit of an exaggeration. Maybe 7 or 8. I think they'll add 2-3 maps in a year's time. I think, 1 map every 2 to 3 months, I think sounds about right? We move into the next announcement of more other titles, effectively stuff like Fatal Frame, Doom Eternal's DLC, Cruise and Blast. I think, the usual stuff. Any other particular games you guys noticed? Like maybe Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 1+2 maybe? Anything from you guys?
Tony Hawk was cool.
Danganronpa seemed pretty cool with the collection that they have. Like, that's a series I've heard a lot about, a lot of buzz. I never really played personally, but they're bringing 4 games and a spin on a new one, so that looks pretty interesting to me. Basically,
yes. Let's move into Danganronpa then, of course. Yeah, they're bringing back the 3 classic games, the original Trigger Happy Havoc Anniversary Edition, Danganronpa 2 Goodbye Despair Anniversary Edition, and then V3 Killing Harmony Anniversary Edition, as well as Danganronpa S Ultimate Summer Camp. So all of these games are coming. You can get them as a combination, as a physical copy called Danganronpa Decadence. And then you can buy them or you can buy them individually in the eShop as well. So that's really cool. I'm very excited about that because I personally haven't played any of the Danganronpa games as well, even though I've been told numerous amounts of times in the last 2 years. I think this might be finally the time I play it. What about you, Adam? How do you feel about the Danganronpa series? If you've played it or if you're planning on playing it, will this be the final right time for you to finally play it now?
I've never played the game before, but Nintendo keeps pumping out these collections, and it's definitely kind of pushing me in the direction of picking it up, because then you can go and catch up on the entire series, you know?
Yeah, I'm very, very excited about being able to see exactly how they're gonna, they're bringing all these franchises in, and it's just bringing a bigger fan base into buying the Switch and, keeping them involved, right? So I'm very, very excited about that, of course. We move into then another big announcement, and that is Metroid Dread. Now, they did talk a bit about Metroid Prime 4. We haven't heard anything since their announcement about the fact that, they were changing studios. The development was going through a lot of trouble. So they're remaking the game, they're redoing the story from the start, and they mentioned today that they're still working on it. What they did bring instead is Metroid Dread, the first 2D game in 19 years in the Metroid series. It is a direct sequel to 2002's Metroid Fusion, and it looks sick. I must admit, I'm not a huge fan of platformers or 2D games, personally, I play very few of them, but this one looked really well done, extremely fluid, extremely fun to look at, and extremely fun to play, it seemed like. But yeah, Adam, how do you feel about Metroid Dread and the little bit of information we got about Metroid Prime 4?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not too crazy about the 2D side-scrolling games either, but I'm always a big fan of when people have been waiting for 20 years to see the next version of a game they've been waiting for. And so I'm happy for the people that play Metroid a ton, and it seems like a lot of people are really hyped for this.
It's we've gotten people who have been getting Zelda stuff, who've been getting Pokemon stuff and so on, and Metroid has been one of those games that has been in limbo for a long time, right? So it's good to see people finally getting what they want. What about you, Aaron? How do you feel about and how do you like the look of Metroid Dread?
Y'all crazy. I respect your opinions, but dude, I love 2D platforms. I ate them up for breakfast. Literally, there's a whole genre called Metrovania, right? Metroid and Castlevania. There's been so many indie games that have taken this genre that been created with Metroid. And it's awesome to finally see that they're making a new game for the Switch. They made some Metroid 2D game for 3DS for some reason that I feel nobody asked for. The Switch is out. Put a Metroid 2D game on the Switch. It's awesome. It looks great. I'm not too in the know of the story or anything like that. But I don't care, dude. The gameplay looks awesome. And Metroid Prime 4, it's coming, right? It's coming, but we have this to hold us off until that eventually comes, right?
After that, we did obviously get more news on Mario Golf Super Rush. I forgot the subtitle for it. But yeah, it's launching on the 25th of June, 10 days away basically from the time of the recording. And they said that there's going to be free updates coming to the game that'll include additional courses and playable characters, so that's dope. I don't think we need to add much upon that. It's super exciting that they are doing free updates for the game, and that we'll be able to just update the game and boom, new characters, new courses, new stuff to do rather than purchasing any DLC or anything. But the next big thing from the I guess you can say Mario franchise, or should I say the Wario franchise, is WarioWare. Get it together. Wario is finally back again, and back again with WarioWare, but this time you can play in co-op basically. Very similar micro games as WarioWare, but this time obviously you can get a co-op buddy in it. Adam?
I probably won't be, but it does look like a ton of fun. It really does. It looks awesome, but I don't know if it's the game for me. I don't know if it's up my alley.
Definitely agree. It's weird, wild, wacky, the usual stuff. Aaron, how about you, man?
I mean, if it has online, I'd say absolutely. But if it doesn't, I might need to be sold on it a little more for co-op. Because I imagine it's only 2 people, right? It looks interesting. It's intriguing. I just might need a little more for me to actually go ahead and make that purchase.
We move then into Mario plus Rabbids, obviously something that was announced at Ubisoft's press conference, of course. Basically, they announced it here again, effectively saying it's coming in 2022, effectively. And then the big announcement, outside of the final announcement, of course, was Shin Megami Tensei 5, of course, the latest entry in the Shin Megami Tensei series, of course. Coming on November 12th, we saw a lot more gameplay. It looks super nice, super fresh, very open. Obviously, the open world environments look really good. I also did notice that the RPG elements and how they are doing it is very, very friendly to newcomers. So if you are planning on entering the Shin Megami series or the SMT franchise as a whole, either via Persona, or you want to play Persona or SMT or anything of a similar sort, this seems like the game to be for you as well. So it's really, really cool. Again, coming out on November 12th. Physical pre-orders are starting on June 21st, I think they mentioned. Adam, how do you feel about SMT5 and how what you saw from it, if you're interested in picking it up potentially?
So I've never played any of those games, but the gameplay that they showed today looked pretty legit. So I will probably be picking it up. I don't know if it's the best place to start at, if I should play the other games or not, but it does look pretty awesome.
Iron Kane, how about you, man?
I have Nocturne, right? I haven't played it yet. I know people are a little mixed on the remaster, but I never personally played a game from the series. You know, I started with Persona. I feel like a lot of people have, funny enough. I know it's gonna piss a couple of fans off hopping into this game. People are probably, they don't know what to expect here. They might get their, you know, their butts beat with the gameplay. I don't know, and this game is harder than Persona or what, but you know, I'm interested to come to the series. It looks like there's some like open world elements, some roaming, which is cool. Like, that's not Persona has like its dungeons, right? But this game looks more open world like to me, and that's gonna be fun to play with, you know, the Personas that we know, or demons. This game, I imagine they're called, that we've grown to know.
So yeah, we'll wait and see when it does drop on November 12th, and yeah, looking forward to that. But then we move into the final announcements, and before we go in, yes, there was no Pokemon news in today's E3. This marks the first time, I think, in 6 years or 7 years we haven't gotten any Pokemon news at E3, I think since 2013 to 2019 effectively. Obviously last year we didn't necessarily have E3, right? Legend of Zelda did decide to bring in some very, very big information. We'll start off with the lesser of the informations, I suppose, and that is Hyrule Warriors Age of Calamity's expansion pass, which wave 1 will be dropping on June 18th, which is in like a couple of days, and then wave 2 will be at the end of November, so that's 2 DLC expansions. I mean, I don't know if any of you guys have picked up Hyrule Warrior, but are you guys planning on picking up the expansion pass if you have?
I mean, potentially, right? If there's like some sort of like collector's thing or game of the year where they have like the game with the expansion pass, like a bundle, maybe I'll pick it up. I'm not too big on like the Kawaii Tecmo, like a Samurai Warriors type of gameplay style. Like when I was playing Persona 5 Strikers, like I like the game, I like Persona, but the gameplay is just, it's not, I'm not too crazy about it, but like I respect the people that enjoy it.
So I'm the opposite. I actually die for those warrior type games, just those mind-numbing, you know, hack and slash games. I haven't picked it up yet, but if there is some kind of a bundle where you can get, you know, all three together, then I would definitely consider it.
Nintendo, you're hearing it first. We want a bundle for this, all right? We move into the next announcement they did, which was Legend of Zelda Skyward Sword HD. Well, I mean, they didn't necessarily announce much. They just said July 16th it's coming. You know, it's got HD graphics, the new control options, and the usual amiibo stuff and whatnot. They didn't really announce much for Skyward Sword, but then the big reveal, something we've been waiting for since they last spoke about it in what was February, I think. February, March was the last direct we had, and we were expecting something for Zelda. I think it was Feb actually. Because of course we had it was the day of the Zelda anniversary, or a couple of days before the Zelda anniversary, and they were like, okay, Breath of the Wild 2 information will be coming later this year. It is later in this year, and lo and behold, we did get information on Breath of the Wild 2 was shown up at this direct, and it looks good. It looks good. Very similar in terms of like the surroundings and the environment takes place in the same place. But the added feature that Link has to his advantage is that he can take control of the skies. He'll be able to explore the skies of Hyrule. He'll be able to explore the kingdom above, or the skies above the kingdom of Hyrule. And it seems to be like they're taking a lot of inspirations from Skyward Sword for this upcoming Breath of the Wild game. So it's going to be very interesting to see what they call the game and how maybe Skyward Sword will feature in this game. Maybe that's why we did get a HD version of Skyward Sword for the Switch as well, to kind of, you know, link in to Breath of the Wild's sequel. But yeah, the trailer looked good. I don't think there was any like complaints from my end. I was very excited about it. The new features, some of the stuff Link was able to do. I mean, he literally went through a wall at one point. Like, I was just baffled by that. But yeah, super exciting. Adam, how do you feel about Breath of the Wild's, or Breath of the Wild 2's teaser trailer that we just got today.
I thought it looked really cool. And like you were saying, he went through a wall, but it also looked like he was like reversing time in some instances. I mean, that looked just cool.
Iron Kane, how about you, man? How do you feel about it? And when do you think it'll launch in 2022? Give us a general, shout.
Yeah, man. But before I talk about that, I just want to mention they did show a little Game & Watch thing, right? That was Zelda. It had was it the first Zelda?
That is true.
Zelda 2, and then Link's Awakening, and then it had like a little funny mini game that was like a Game & Watch, but with Link instead. Toon was very happy about that because his favorite game is like Link's Awakening, and he wasn't a big fan of the remake. But moving on to Breath of the Wild 2, I thought it was cool. I have to rewatch the trailer, man, because it went by very quickly. They didn't show. It was like a very long showing of the game, but what they showed off was very interesting. They showed some cutscenes, showed some gameplay, and you mentioned like taking to the skies. I think that's very cool. Majority of Breath of the Wild 2, you're on the ground. How do you progress from there? You go to the skies. Like, whether or not it'll come out in 2022, I'm not holding my breath, man. The way I feel about like delays and stuff like that, like it is improving the game. Just people got to be patient. I feel like it could come out in 2022. Looking at that trailer, it did look pretty solid there, right? But it also was a small portion, so who knows? But I'm expecting later in 2022, if that is like the case, if it actually is coming out next year. But hopefully it does, we'll see what happens.
I completely agree. I do think I would prefer late 2022 just so that they get time to clean up the game and stuff like that. But I wouldn't be surprised as well if they decide to drop it in March 2022 because 5-year anniversary of the original Breath of the Wild, right? So it would kind of fit in really, really well. Overall, super excited about the game, and I agree, the Game & Watch thing as well looks very fun, very cute, something for people to pick up if they're diehard Legend of Zelda fans. But yeah, final thoughts, boys. Final thoughts. Nintendo. I don't think we missed anything. I think we covered all the games, or the key games I think we should have covered, and I personally think Nintendo smashed it out of the park. I wasn't expecting much. They would have done better than everybody else apart from Microsoft, but to me, they even arguably surpassed Microsoft, obviously excluding the Game Pass stuff, which pretty much is everything in Microsoft, but excluding Game Pass, in terms of games, the games from Nintendo I just genuinely preferred. But yeah, what about you, Adam? Your final thoughts on Nintendo, how they did the press conference?
So I thought their press conference was great. I think it was needed in this E3 because right now we only had Microsoft just stealing the whole show.
Yep.
I would probably rank them, a close second to Microsoft just because Microsoft had so many games and 90% of them were basically free on Game Pass, which is really hard to compete with. But it's like, that's not saying that Nintendo was bad in any way. Like, Nintendo knocked it out of the park as well. They had so many of their classic games being remastered, re-releasing in collections, and then they also showed future games coming back out. So I think that if you're a big Nintendo fan, you can't ask for more than what they gave today. And E3 definitely needed it because it's basically Nintendo and Microsoft are the only ones who showed up.
Iron, how about you, man? How do you feel about Nintendo's Direct, and how do you feel they've done?
Compared to Microsoft, I think it comes down to preference. Like for me, I don't own an Xbox, right? I don't have Game Pass, so to me, Nintendo wins here. But if you say have both systems, I'd say Microsoft wins with value, obviously, because of Game Pass. Like Nintendo might win over with games, so I feel like it's a person-to-person thing here. Like I don't think there's like a, universal winner. Like I don't think anybody can just say, yeah, Microsoft definitely takes her. Nintendo definitely takes it, right? It's just like, it's whatever your preference is and whatever you got going on. Like if you have Game Pass or if you have a Switch.
Yeah, I think Nintendo still did a fantastic job, even if you look game to game. I think, again, like Iron Kane said, it comes down to preference. So yeah, comments, let us know. What was your preference? What do you think in the last 4 days was your most anticipated title that was announced? Which press conference did you enjoy the most? And yeah, hopefully we can see you in future videos where we can talk more about these games, more about upcoming announcements and stuff. Of course, we still have EA Play to go next month. We'll probably get an announcement for a State of Play. I think I'd assume PlayStation will have to announce a State of Play relatively soon. And then, of course, potentially stuff like Aniplex Fest. Of course, bring stuff like the Demon Slayer game and whatnot as well to the drawing board. But yeah, hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. Leave a like if you did. Comment again, like I said, what did you enjoy the most from the E3 and the last 4 days that we've covered E3. And of course, subscribe for more content on the 5-9 channel for like gaming content and whatever else you will be able to find in here. But yeah, from Iron King, Adam, and I, we'll see you guys in the next one. Take it easy, everybody.